I mean, we knew Rick's training was quite literally life and death, and we knew he's been killed multiple times and brought back, because that's just how training went in his household, because as long as you get to him in time, it doesn't matter if a few bones break or arms get ripped off, you just bring his ass back and we go again. But to hear him admit tens of thousands of times, even I had to do a double take. But honestly, props to Angelica. So we knew Rick was going to be training her, so she'd be good in the tournament. He throws her into the deep end. At the end of the day, I do think Rick was nicer than probably any of the others were to him. But to just put a ball and chain on every limb and then just drag her. He called it baby birding. And I don't know if it would actually work or not, because on one hand, so he's dragging her, which then forces her legs to run, but at the same time, he's doing most of the work, but I guess by taking up most of the work, it allows her legs to still keep up to a speed that's unrealistic in most circumstances. And the fact that we cut away and learned that apparently when Rick first did that training, he died 3 times. On one hand, I have to say, you know, maybe after the first death, you go back to square one, maybe you regroup a little. But 2, props to Angelica. She did what Rick couldn't, which honestly, amazing props, but what other MC has died tens of thousands of times just to train? Love this show. Now, of course, I do have those full live reactions over on Patreon. If you want to see my full and good thoughts to any of these Osu Newbie Adventure episodes, you know it's going to be over there exclusively. So, very good episode. Fantastic tournament arc as it stands. I mean, I think most anime fans love a good tournament arc, and the pace at which we're going seems good. I mean, the characters who are essentially one-shotting, I mean, it made sense given their opponents. Angelica came in. I did not even recognize her at first. I thought, because I knew this was a tournament arc, it's more than just our characters. So when I saw the back shot, and then even when they showed it wasn't until the sub said, "That's Angelica," I was like, wait, what? Because looking at her, it just feels like a completely different feral woman, but that's what the training does to a fool, I suppose. She one-shots her first opponent, the brother of the fiance does his thing, and honestly, the champion, you know, the crowd, some of the crowd are acting like, you know, he's sloppy and not as good. To me, it kind of felt more showmanship, like he was trying to give the crowd a bit of a show before he whooped his ass, because his first punch felt very weak. And then he took a punch before then completely obliterating the fool. So, very interesting stuff. But the main attraction that we got a taste of in this episode was the confrontation with Angelica versus the brother. Now, this man does not take things seriously, is a horrible person. The look of, I'm not going to hurt your face so it doesn't ruin the wedding for my brother, and I'm not going to punch you too hard in the stomach so you can give him kids. I still want to believe her fiance is a decent guy who's just involved in a situation and will gladly let her go if the debt stuff falls through. But the brother is irredeemable in my opinion, like absolute scumbag. But we did get some training in. So the training that she did with Rick very clearly is why she's so fast. Like she was, if you look at his first opponent in this episode, he actually was dodging a few of his attacks. But the night and day difference with Angelica actually feeling like she was Sonic the Hedgehog dodging everything, there was a clear difference of speed and power. But her normal attacks, like the dude's made of adamantium or something, I don't know, like nothing was working. That is until she enhanced her strength and did whatever Rinette's, you know, training was, which is apparently turning your arm into a sword. She did cut him, and honestly that looks like it would sting. It went in between the ab definement, and it just looks like you did a paper cut in between your fingers. Like that just looks like it would sting like a mofo. And honestly, I don't know if this man's ever been hurt in recent memory, so I'm curious to see how he'll actually deal with pain, given that it doesn't feel like most characters have ever applied pain to him. He's always been the one to, you know, apply it. So she can actually do damage, even if it's little by little, and has the speed to dodge everything that he throws at her. She very well should win this fight, and I hope she does. I mean, it's hard to imagine Angelica losing here and then having to be saved by Rick, you know, kicking this guy's ass or something. It just doesn't feel like it would feel good. It would feel like she was a damsel in distress and couldn't do it herself, and this is such a personal thing for her. It feels better to have our characters to like support her via training so then she can kick this fool's ass. If she goes up against Rick or someone, she would lose 100%, but you kind of see my point. So I'm hoping, like, I do hope next episode is a struggle for her. I think it would be nice to see her, you know, almost hit rock bottom, but get that second win and get that W before really showing these brothers who's boss. I'm hoping how it goes, but either way, it's a very good escalation, and I think despite the training being very fast-paced, it really works in the show's favor. They show you enough of the insanity. Like, the first thing we see of her training is her getting dragged by Rick with these cannonball things attached to her, and him just announcing at the end that he died 3 times his first time, so bravo. Cut to 5 days later, her sitting in a bar, in bumhell nowhere, just like trying to avoid, and then he pops up Slenderman style saying, "See, I found you." Like, that's just funny, and it's the appropriate amount of training, and the fact that we had off-screen training with her and our girls so that, you know, we don't see exactly what she's capable of now that she can apparently turn her arm into a sword, but you see the end result a little bit by the end of the episode. Actually, very good directing, and they've shown us enough of the tournament so far while also showing us enough of the training that it feels like you're not really missing anything. It's leaving you wanting more in the right ways. It's better to leave your viewer wanting a bit more rather than giving them so much that they're like, okay, we've seen enough training, let's get back to the meat and potatoes, the main attraction, which in this case would be the tournament arc. I'm still very conflicted on what's going to happen because obviously the whole end goal is to beat the champion, get his belt, get the gem, and that's one of the gems we're collecting. But when we look at Rick and his mentor, Rick is, by all rights, weaker than him, but at the same time, if Rick can, you know, get into that aura that we've seen in flashbacks, then he could beat him. So it's going to be interesting to see who actually goes up against the champion. I assume Rick will have to fight Angelica, and he'll beat Angelica, and then he'll have to go up against old Boss Man, and who knows what goes on there. But either way, damn good. Very, very good show. Like, I could nitpick if I wanted to. I could nitpick a lot of the art and how it dips quite consistently, but, you know, given the comedy nature of this show, usually a lot of the dips just add to the comedy directing, and the fact that it does have that old school feel, like a late 90s, early 2000s vibe, I don't know, it just kind of has like a hint of nostalgia in a weird way. It just, I like how this show is. It's definitely like a solid 8 out of 10 watch for me. That's probably like a perfect rating for a show like this, and has me very eager for a season 2 if they decide to bless us with it. Now, of course, those are my feelings. Let me know what you're thinking of the Osanubi Adventurer, because we are getting close to the finish line of season 1, and I am loving it twice as much as I was in like the first third of the show. But that's just me. Let me know what you're feeling down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're around here. Of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Golden Angel 1517, Ulcerin, Rion, Proof Space, SW Me, Nanodog, Jmons 9173, and we also have Durhosh. So I appreciate the support, everyone, and please take care, and you all have a good one.